guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. Hi guys, different background. I'm trying to avoid shadows and I'm also trying to avoid the noise which is during the day next to my house now. If you're following me on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm filming this one at night. Let me know what you think about how it looks. But I've had an amazing month. I watched so many movies this month and a lot of TV shows, so I'm very excited to jump into that. I'm not going to be talking about Pet Sematary and the spoilers. I know a lot of you guys were expecting a spoiler review from me, but I have a few things to say, but not enough to warrant a whole video on it. So I'm actually going to be on a podcast soon talking about Pet Sematary and what I thought of the new movie, and I'll make sure to link you. If you follow me on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter, you'll see the link and then you can hear my explanation there. But let's jump into Letterboxd and talk about what movies I watched during the month of March. If you guys want to follow me on Letterboxd, I'm under Spooky Astronaut, not Knots. At the start of the month, I watched Isn't It Romantic? This is an interesting movie. It has Rebel Wilson and a couple other Aussies in it actually. But I didn't think it was very good. It was meant to be kind of like a piss take on romantic comedies, but I just thought it was really poorly done and very predictable, which I was hoping it would do something completely out of the box because it was trying to be jokey with how predictable rom-coms are. Anyway, I then watched Vox Lux. I don't know if you guys have heard of this movie. It is so intense. The start, it almost starts off like a horror movie, and I just love Natalie Portman and she's so great in this. It's a very confusing watch, and you'll either kind of love it or hate it, even though I gave it a 7, which, I mean, that's not midway, but I was just, for ages after watching this movie, I thought about it. It's hard to explain, but it's about an extravagant superstar and how she came to be, and she has like a strange journey, which I was not expecting. And yeah, it has a lot of themes and messages and meanings, and it's one of those films you really need to sit down with someone afterwards and be like, what just happened to us? I actually sat down with my friend Stevie afterwards and we were like, what just happened to us? And it was great. I then watched Romo because I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. It's about a domestic worker's struggle with being pregnant during like a really hard time in Mexico. It's very interesting, and it was more to do with the way that it's captured. The cinematography for this film is insane. And people, I think, who watched it after the Oscars were expecting an overwhelming storyline where it's not really about that. It's more the look and the feel of the film, which I really, really appreciated. I gave it a 7 out of 10, so I think that's all right. I then watched Three Identical Strangers, which is a documentary that will shake you. Actually, I'm not going to say what this is about. If you don't know what it's about, please watch it. It's not horror based or anything like that, but it kind of like, it delves into like a theory, like a conspiracy theory, and it's just mind-blowing. If you're into documentaries, I recommend. And you guys know I'm pretty spot on with documentaries, I like to think. I then watched Between Worlds. I don't even remember this film, to be honest. Oh my god. This was a Nicolas Cage film that Dean and I watched, and it's like unbearable. I love Nicolas Cage, don't get me wrong. If you want to watch the most unbearable Nicolas Cage film, this is worse than Wicker Man. Wicker Man at least had a storyline. This movie is so messed up. It's about a man who meets a woman whose daughter gets possessed by his ex-wife, and he has sex with her, and then there's flames. I give half stars very rarely, but this time, Nicolas Cage, you earned it. I then watched Behind the Curve. Don't get on me, guys. This is a flat earth conspiracy documentary, but it's not really. It kind of makes them look like dicks, and yeah, it's not in their favor. It's on Netflix, and I just like going about the theories. Obviously, flat earthers are a huge thing right now, and it's just very interesting to me to understand how people comprehend the world and perceive it, and what they are looking at, their angle. I like that. I like it. You guys know I'm very culty, so yeah, it wasn't great. I then watched Timeshare, which was a very strange movie about two families that go to share a timeshare at like a holiday resort, and it's a very strange movie where this guy gets like almost possessed by this idea that it's like this conspiracy. Wow, I'm back to conspiracies again. Look at me go. And it is almost like a thriller. It's bizarre, but it's also got some strange tone to it. If you're into weird movies, I would recommend it. It was a film that I won't forget very soon, but I didn't fully enjoy it. I found it very frustrating. So if you like frustrating watches, definitely check that one out. It was more of those kind of watches, like, as I always say, like Mother, where you're like, what is happening? I'm getting so angry. It's that kind of film. I then watched Southbound. I watched this again because I was on Sarah Hawkinson, Possessed by Horror, her horror channel, and I talked about films that I didn't like but other people like, and I never liked Southbound. If you guys didn't know that, I really don't like this anthology horror movie, but to be honest, anthology horror movies are really hard to perfect. So I don't blame it, but that's just my piece. I then, very controversial, conspiracy not so, I can't really say, can I? I watched Leaving Netherland. I watched the 4 hour, is it 3? No, it's 4 hours, and then I watched the Oprah special, which is another hour. What am I meant to say about this without getting hate? This is a hard series to watch. And it's really, I'm gonna say it is hard to dispute, and it made me feel very awful. And I'm a Michael Jackson fan, so, you know, it's hard for everyone. And yeah, I don't know, I believe them, that's all I want to say, and it was gut-wrenching. And if you do watch it and you still don't agree with it, you should watch the Oprah special, because there she gets to the point that it's more about sexual grooming and it's more of a story for us to learn and learn by, and I think that that's really important. If you're very against the documentary, please remember that no one was paid for the documentary, and watch it. I'm so sick of hearing people bag something out without seeing it. Watch it and you might change your mind. After that, I watched The Mimic, which I did a review on. If you haven't checked that out, it is a South Korean horror film about a tiger up in like the forest who mimics people's voices. It's very Annihilation. Someone actually said that in my comment section about it, which I thought was very spot on, and I would recommend it. I then watched Calibre, I believe that's how I say it. It is a Scottish film about two men who go hunting for the weekend, and something awful happens and they end up trying to cover up what happened, and it's just downhill from there. Again, another frustrating watch where you know something that the main characters know, the villagers don't know, and they're after them, and it's really scary to watch. Another frustrating, tension building movie, but it's again hard to watch. So if you're into that, I think it's on Netflix in most countries, so definitely check it out. I then watched The Bad Batch because I'd seen so much hype, not really hype, but so much promotion about it. This is a very weird film. It claims, I think, to be fantasy action horror, and I didn't really like it. It was just a bit silly and far-fetched for me. It's like very like Mad Max with a soundtrack trying to be deep, but it didn't get there at all with me. I wouldn't, just stay clear of Bad Batch. I thought it was really weird. If you did like it, please let me know what the fuck was happening that whole movie. I then watched Await Further Instructions. This is on Netflix in some countries. I actually really liked this film at the start. I was gonna do a review, I was all over it. It was really like talking about certain topics that I thought was really interesting in horror movies, about interracial couples, things like that you just don't hear about in, oh, I guess Get Out, but things about that, because it's a British movie I haven't seen in a British movie, and it was just very different until it just went downhill real fast. The end is just so poor. I think the first hour, not even, maybe the first 40 minutes I really enjoyed. It's about a family that are in a house for Christmas. They have a disagreement. They decide, oh, you know, the kid and his girlfriend are gonna just like pack up and go the next morning. But when they wake up in the morning and they try and leave, there's bars all over their house, all over their windows, all over their doors, and they can't escape. And then on TV it says await further instruction. So it's more of a kind of a sci-fi film, and I thought that sounds really cool, but it's very playing on stereotypes, and it's almost overplaying them to the point where it's just stupid, and then the sci-fi-ness just kind of takes it in a different direction. Anyway, I was not a fan of that one. I liked where it started, but not where it went. I then watched The Super, which was an awful, awful film. It was one of those films like you feel like what's happening can't be happening and there's got to be something else to it, and then when you hear what the other thing, like the twist is to it, it's even worse. I really watched a couple of stinkers in a row, and this was one of them. It's about a superintendent in an apartment block and a man who moves in with his kids. yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. It's not a good film. I don't even want to waste your time. I then watched The Witch Files. Oh my god, this movie was so bad, but like good bad. This is very like Paranormal Activities meets The Craft, but I like both of those films, and this film is the shittest thing ever. It's about some girls in school who go to detention, and then there's like a witch girl, and she like teaches them how to do witchcraft, and then they all start getting everything they ever wanted, but it comes at a cost. It's very The Craft, but it has a little like different twist to it. I thought it was silly and fun, and it was an awful movie, but it was a funny watch. Actually, Nightmare Maven has done a full review on it, so please check that out. I then watched Anguish, which I actually really liked this film. I only gave it 3 because I felt like it kind of slowed down. If you're into The Black Coat's Daughter / February, whatever you want to call it, definitely check out this movie because it was a case of possession, which is quite like that. Very interesting, very different. 2 women who think that one of their daughters could be both of their daughters. Very interesting ride, and reminds me a lot of the kind of vibe that was from Pyewacket, and then also the story and the pace from The Black Coat's Daughter. So if you like those films, definitely check it out. I don't think it's a bad movie at all. I then watched The Ninth Gate. I watched that with Dean. I found that I gave it 2.5 because I kind of stopped paying attention. It's got Johnny Depp in it. It's about a guy that's like tracking down a book that was apparently made by the devil, I believe. I can hardly remember. It just went on and on and on. Not a fan. I then watched Get Out again, and I love this film. I love it so much. Second time round. That's only the second time I've watched it, and I thought it was fantastic, and I just appreciate it so much more this time. I'm sure you guys don't need me to harp on about Get Out. I then watched Smiley. I watched this for It Does This Offend You with Nightmare Maven. This is an awful horror movie, obviously with a lot of YouTubers in it. Shane Dawson's in it. Don't bother, it's just so silly. Watch the trailer, don't watch the movie. I then watched Trauma, which I did a review on, which a lot of you guys were like, oh my god, let's watch Trauma afterwards. And I was like, that was not my intention. A lot of you guys did watch it, which is so crazy. But do you know what is even more crazy? I've given it 2.5, which is the same score I gave Pet Sematary. Scandalous. Very different 2.5 films. I then watched Destoroyah. This is a Nicole Kidman film. It's a thriller drama, and it's like very like crimey. It's about an undercover cop who takes this case, and she gets really wrapped into it. I felt like there was a lot of flaws in this movie. A lot of things weren't well explained that could have given a better payoff, but overall I can't be mad if it does have a payoff that made you go, ah, which this film does. I'm being very vague, aren't I? Definitely check it out. And there's 2 types of people in this world. You either hate or love Nicole Kidman, and I'm a lover. Onto TV shows. I actually watched a lot of TV shows this month. I started off by watching The Disappearance of Madeline McCann, and I actually felt that it was really hard to follow, and I felt like this because I do appreciate subtitled TV shows and movies. I watch them no problem. Actually, most of what I watch is just subtitled anyway, but they kept on switching out from speaking English to speaking Portuguese, and I just felt like it was full on and it just changed the tone all the time. I also felt like it was just really joking around with conspiracy theories here and there without getting to hard facts. And I don't like when TV shows, I feel like Making a Murderer is such a good example of this, and I really did like it when it came out. I still like it. The production value of these like Netflix true crime, they do it really well, but what they do is they give you a certain amount of information the whole episode. So say there's a 40-minute episode and they talk about it 30 minutes of the episode, and then the last, not even like 10 minutes, or last like 2 minutes, they'll give you a completely new fact that's a cliffhanger, but it's kind of like a dishonest cliffhanger because you didn't have that information before, so how could you have figured something out? And I just don't like when they manipulate the audience like that. I feel like it's just like leading you down to have a perception of people and like, you know, things that actually happened without, I don't know, being unbiased. It's hard. I like the well-produced documentaries, but sometimes I feel like this is their downfall because they're trying to stretch it out to, you know, 8 episodes or 10 episodes by misleading you and withholding information. So I felt like this was happening in this, and everything was too slow, and then they'd give you like a cliffhanger and so you'd watch the next one and then you'd be bored the whole time until the last 2 minutes. So I didn't keep watching it. I think I watched 4 episodes. Something I did have time for was The Widow, because I watched this with my partner Dean. This is a very interesting TV show, very different for me. It has Kate Beckinsale in it. It's a TV show about a woman in London whose husband has gone to Africa and his plane goes down and he dies. But many years later, she thinks he sees him in a picture, or like it's a CCTV image, and so she decides to go to Africa to try and find him. And it was like a journey, a twist and turning. I think it wasn't too bad. If you're into a TV show that has like all these different characters and their stories kind of intertwine at the end and has like a big oh my god moment, that's a TV show for that. And it's definitely just like 1 season. I'm sure they'll make a 2nd season now I've said that, but it's kind of like a 1 season, everything unraveling, and I liked the ending. The ending was quite good, but I mean, it wasn't the best thing ever, but it was something fun to watch with your partner. If your partner does not like horror, or your friends don't like horror, it's something good you can watch. So there's good TV shows, right? And then there's bad TV shows. I started trying to watch The Order, which is on Netflix. It was heavily promoted. It's like this witchy power werewolf bullshit. It's about a guy who gets into like a uni college situation and there's like this secret society. It looked really like satanic and cool. Lots of chaos, man, from the trailers, but I tried to watch 1 episode with Dean and I like could not do it. And Dean is someone, if he starts something, he has to finish it. So he kept watching it, and I would come up after, you know, working at night or whatever, and there would be like werewolves attacking each other, some really bad one-liners. It looked awful. I'm so sorry if I've just completely ruined it for you. If you do like fantasy and those kind of cheesy things, totally up to you, but not my cup of tea at all. But in saying that, cheesiness, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, the new season, I die. In between a lot of stress and a lot of hard work this month, I really enjoyed binging the new season on Netflix. If you haven't checked it out, it's so good. It's like the most uplifting, amazing thing. And if you like things that uplift you, if you watch a lot of horror and you get a little bit down sometimes, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, I love this show and I'll just keep watching it. That's all I have to say. I'll just keep watching it. Just give me more. And to finish that all off, another TV show that I have been watching is Love, Death and Robots. I still have, I think, 4 episodes left to go. If you don't know about it, it is a TV show where it's cartoon anthology. So every single episode is done in a different cartoon style and they all involve like robots, love, or death, and sometimes all of that. I think all of them really do have all of that in there. Some go for 2 minutes, some go for 20 minutes. And also Netflix did a really interesting thing when they put it out. They actually reordered it for a bunch of people. So I think they're like playing a test with us because they haven't had an anthology TV series or original TV series come out yet. So they're kind of like testing this psychology of like mixing it all up, which I think is really cool. Anyway, I really liked that show, and if you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. But it is mature eyes only. There's a lot of sex, there's a lot of violence, and there's a lot of swearing. So just be warned, it's very brutal, but in the best way. If you guys don't know, on Instagram, I do this fun thing. This is my board. Every week I have 2 Instagram lives, and in those lives I have a game called Name That Film, where I give clues and people try and guess what film I'm talking about. This is the score chart though, and I've done all of these names printed out. And these are some newer people. I just wanted to give a shout out to the winner this month. I've decided each month I'm gonna just talk about the scoreboard on here as kind of a, I don't know if that's like a prize, just to kind of shout out people who are supporting me. So the winner this month is definitely Misery Pop with 10. And Let's Talk Danny has 6 just behind. And coming in 3rd is Gavin XCX. I want to say thank you to you guys for participating. If you have, and if you watch my videos as well as follow me on Instagram, you're even better. Thank you so much. We have so much fun doing this, so I'm so glad you guys are enjoying it too. Before you go, I have one more thing to show you guys. When I was holding up those vinyls, the Babadook and the Rosemary's Baby ones that I found in Melbourne, I think a couple of months ago, I was missing one. I bought this on a really hot day, like 38 degrees, and I thought I left it somewhere because when I was unpacking, I couldn't find it, but then Dean found it. It's the Elephant Man soundtrack. If you guys have not heard this, I'm literally gonna cry. I love this so much. This is, oh my God. This soundtrack is so good and haunting and beautiful. And actually, speaking of Lords of Chaos, I do want to say really quickly, this is a film that I think about when people talk about Lords of Chaos and how it's not exactly like what happened, because the Elephant Man, John Merrick, is a real guy. And do you think that this is correct? No, but the film is still beautiful. And if you haven't seen Elephant Man, you need to go watch it. It's probably one of the saddest films I've ever seen, and I just emotionally connect with this so much. I love this movie, and I'm so glad I have the soundtrack. What a find, 20 bucks for secondhand. I'm very happy with that. If you made it this far, thank you so much for being here, number one. And my monthly mission this month is I want you guys to let me know what you guys want next from me, what you want more of. I don't really ask that often. I'm a little bit scared to ask it, but I do want to know. I want to know if you guys want to hear a Q&A, if you guys want live streams, what videos you prefer of mine, because you guys, you're who I'm making the content for. So I thought if I collect it all in one place, it would be easier for me to analyze what you guys are after. So I just thought I'd ask the question. A nice and easy one. Let me know your opinions down below. Let me know what you watched this month and what you liked. Let me know if any of this was very helpful. I felt like I just watched a lot of stinkers this month, but maybe that's good. Maybe I steered you away from watching bad movies instead of giving you some good movies. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, guys. I hope you're all having a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you guys very soon. I have a video coming up for you guys very shortly about a movie that may have gone under your radar. Get excited, guys. I'll see you then at the start of next week, and then at the end of next week, I'll be doing a Come With Me for the Weeping Woman. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.